Evening to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation is Eric Douglas, pastor of Beacon Community Church. Eric, if you come to the podium.
Please join me in Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please join me in prayer? Father God, thank you that we can come to you. And we thank you that you are the God who reigns and governs over all things. And I pray just for this city council tonight. We thank you for them, for their servant hearts. We thank you for the city staff as well. And we just ask that you would bless them. I pray for unity tonight. I pray for protection for them, for their families. I pray for the protection for our police force, as well as they are serving our community, and that you would bless them as they work tonight and throughout the days and weeks that you give them in these roles to serve and be a blessing here. And so guide them, lead them. We love you, God, and we thank you that you love us and that we can come to you through Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Eric. Item C, I entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Corey's made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Made the seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item D, citizen comments. We'll take a few minutes here if there's anyone that would like to address the council. This isn't a dialogue, it's just an opportunity for the community to speak. And so I will go ahead and open citizens' comments, and if everyone wants to come forward and say a few words, now's your time to do that. Kind of like the Kansas wind blowing. No one's here to speak this evening, then we'll move on to the next item. Item E, conflict of interest agreement declaration. This is an opportunity for anyone to acknowledge that they might have a conflict with tonight's agenda. And
So I have a conflict with the consent agenda. I have an item on the consent agenda, so I will abstain from voting on that.
okay, very good. Anybody else?
No.
Good on the other four of us. Okay. Appointments, proclamations, recognitions.
Good evening. It is my honor and great joy to be able to recognize a couple of staff tonight for some achievements that they've earned. Tonight we want to recognize, and you guys can come on up here, Kayla Courtney and Mike Holmes for completing the Kansas University Emerging Leaders Academy. It's a program where they take about 6 to 8 weeks of classes on public administration, and they do projects and they mentor different people and shadow them and learn a lot of good skills through this program. So we're very happy and excited that they are graduates. Jason and I went to their graduation ceremony, and it was just lovely, and they did great, and we're so proud of you. So we wanted to recognize you guys tonight, and we got just a little something, a little. And also we should mention, if you want to mention Tina, or I'll let you know, Tina. Okay, sorry. I'm still in the show. Sorry.
No, and before I go on to this, we did tell Mike and Kayla, Brooke did just a little bit ago, maybe announced they're supposed to do part of the presentation tonight. So if they'd like to start that now. No, we'd also like to recognize Tina Powell. She was not here, able to make it here tonight. She completed the CPM program through KU as well. Very nice ceremony, and all three of these people had to go through a lot of hard work to get to this point, and we're very proud of them.
Jason, Everybody say cheese. Cheese. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Again, congratulations. I appreciate the fact that we've got people on our staff, and I appreciate our city manager that's willing to invest in the staff here. But thank you for taking that extra time. You did that on your own time, and it's a real benefit to our community that you're willing to invest in development, and we just hope that we have continued opportunities to do those things, and staff keeps growing, and there's going to be more opportunities here for different jobs and opportunities. So thank you for taking that time, both of you. Okay, moving along here. Item G, consent agenda. The four of us to vote. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Krista. Made the motion.
Second.
Naomi seconds. Okay, my hearing aid needs to be turned up. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Unfinished business? None. We're at new business. Bye-bye. Train's rolling.
Our Mayor and City Council, this is going to be an introduction for the Wichita Area Builders Association. So we do have Tyler York, the president of Wichita Area Builders Association here, as well as some of his constituents. And so at this point, we want to invite our rep to come and speak and give his presentation. Open up the dialogue.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, I understand that I've got 10 minutes, so I'll try to go through this as quickly as I can to respect everyone's time. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name is Tyler York. I'm here on behalf of the Wichita Area Builders Association. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for tabling the agenda item on May 18th to allow further discussion when it comes to design standards on developments in your community. I often find it helpful to preface my comments with some background on who WABA is. Founded in 1951, our association has supported home builders and associated industries for 75 years. But more than that, we support the American dream of home ownership and attainable housing for all residents in South Central Kansas. Out of more than 700 local home builder associations federated under the National Association of Home Builders, WABA is the 19th largest at 948 members representing hundreds of businesses across 7 counties. And so it's with that platform and background that I want to acknowledge something important right from the outset. We understand why this conversation is taking place. The concerns being expressed by your constituents and residents, as well as some of you as elected officials, are very real. No one wants to see neighborhoods that appear hastily constructed, lack architectural character, or raise concerns about long-term maintenance and property values. No one wants development that feels disconnected from the rest of the community or leaves residents wondering what the neighborhood might look like 10 or 20 years down the road. Our members live in these communities, we raise our families in these communities, and we have a vested interest in these communities. So tonight, I'm not here to argue against quality development. Our concern is not with the goal of quality design, our concern is with the degree of prescription. There is an important distinction between establishing expectations versus dictating specific methods. Communities often achieve the best results when they focus on outcomes rather than detailed formulas. So I'm here to encourage the city to consider whether the proposed approach is the most effective way to achieve the goals that I believe we can either all share or find plenty of common ground on. The proposed standards contain several requirements that will significantly increase development and construction costs. These costs will not only be absorbed by builders and developers, at least not indefinitely. Ultimately, they will be passed on and reflected in the price of the housing and the monthly housing cost paid by future residents. Due to macroeconomic and geopolitical forces well beyond our state, the cost of living, the cost of materials, fuel, and land have all increased at a rate that has far outpaced local wage growth. At a time when affordability remains one of the greatest challenges facing Kansas families, we believe it is important to carefully evaluate whether each requirement provides enough public benefit to justify the additional cost. One of the examples that I'll point out is the requirement for a minimum half-acre park area within with multiple amenities, including at least one active recreational amenity. While parks and amenities certainly add value to neighborhoods, they also come with substantial costs that will most certainly be financed through special assessments and carried by the end user, the residents living in these homes. And long-term maintenance costs for these amenities would have to be carried by the developer initially, and then passed on to residents through an HOA that would be formed later on. The proposal for architectural standards, I believe, is the real crux of the matter why we're here. I apologize I don't have this on a slide for the folks at home, but folks, I have eyes, I see this. I can probably find even worse examples that are out there, just a short distance from where I live. But I think we get it, and we want to design communities that we can have pride in, that meet the goals of the greater community and their neighbors. So this image is an image of a street with 2-family dwelling units with the exact same specifications and design. If you all, as the city's elected leaders, if you want architectural variety, I'm not here to fight you on that. Although we do acknowledge, as I'm sure each of you do, that requiring 6 separate product types introduces architectural, engineering, and construction costs that wouldn't otherwise be present. But in the shared effort to build neighborhoods that last, that are aesthetically pleasing, we want to work with you to help achieve that goal. If we can take a look at the slideshow, Mike, have we queued that up?
Yep, they already.
Thank you. These are examples from what one of my home builder and developers has provided to me, Travis Whistler, who's not with us here tonight. But he sent these over as an opportunity for us to take a look at. He is building these models in Fox Creek at 37th and 19th, northeast of here, south of Mays. He's implementing a 6 concept design similar to what is described in this ordinance. They are spaced out to break up the monotony that I think none of us like to see. And these are good looking homes. I'll start scrolling through these. We have there we go, there's an actual photo of a completed design. Another reason why I wanted to bring up these slides is for another item that's in the, a provision that's in the ordinance that I think our members would find it very difficult to comply with. The requirement for the garage width taking up no more than 50% of the width of the front of the house. To comply with this provision, developers and builders would have to choose a variety of options, each of which come with substantial complications. Option A, they can make the non-garage portion of the home wider to accommodate at least 51% of the front width. This presents substantial planning and design challenges for new subdivisions. Vehicle widths are what they are. We can't change that, so garage changes, we have to work with what we have. What we would have to change would be the structure so that we could get it wide enough to accommodate this requirement for 2-family units with garages that face the street. And therefore, the lot size would have to get a whole lot wider themselves. This will make designing and planning subdivisions very difficult to make the lots fit in an efficient manner and to cash flow these developments. Option B, garages can go in the rear of the home with access via alleyways. Some communities have tried this with varying degrees of success. I will tell you that fire departments hate these designs. Garage fires are fairly frequent and involve hazardous flammable materials. And fire officials frequently tell me that it's hard to get fire apparatus vehicles down these alleyways or in a safe manner. I have a few solutions that might mitigate that safety aspect here, but I see that I'm running out of my 10 minutes. There is option number C. You can allow 2-family structures without garages included. And I doubt, for a variety of reasons, that any of us really want to see that. Number one, I doubt that the City of Goddard would even allow that. Number two, if anyone would want to live in these types of structures, because of course, in addition to the dilemma of what to do with the occupants' vehicles, many of the items that are typically stored in a garage would likely be tossed out in the front yard. And I'll add, most current middle-income single-family homes in this region don't even fit the standard of the 50% with the 50% width for the garages. I see my clicker's a little bit slow here. The neighborhood I used to live in, Sierra Hills in southeast Wichita, with single-family homes in the upper 300s up to the 700s. The vast majority of the houses in this neighborhood, all single-family, all have garages with width exceeding 50% of the front design. There's a number of other items I don't want to take issue with at all. The sidewalks of 5 foot wide on one side, except in cul-de-sacs. No argument here. That seems to make sense for a lot of current development these days. The 2-tree requirement is totally something that I can personally get behind as someone with a horticulture degree from Kansas State University that recognizes the vast benefit of trees, but I can tell you that the requirement for the certificate of occupancy is going to create some friction. And I'm curious if the city has resources to inspect and enforce this mandate over the required 2-year period to maintain those trees. And lastly, I do appreciate the ordinance contains language for modification and waivers subject to approval by the governing body. However, that still places a substantial burden on the applicant. Perhaps any single one of these provisions included in the ordinance would be considered something that my builders and developers can live with. But it is the sum of all of these mandates combined that we foresee substantial challenges in our combined goal to grow our communities. And should council move forward with these standards as they are written, I can't foresee you granting frequent waivers on a combination of the provisions listed within this ordinance. That would defeat the purpose, right? So that leads me to what I believe is a couple of options for a constructive alternative. First, you could direct city staff to work with WABA members who build and develop in Goddard, some of whom are here with me tonight. The ordinance drafted can even be the starting point and a springboard for those conversations. That can be amended to make it more palatable for government and stakeholders as well as the general public at large. A second option, rather than adopting a rigid set of citywide requirements that apply equally to every project, we could encourage the city to consider utilizing a combination of master development plans and development agreements. This would provide a degree of flexibility per development that might be considered because no 2 developments are the same and therefore ought not fall under the same strict formulas and regulation. This option would still provide the city a strong tool and leverage to produce quality development that meet our shared goals of long-term neighborhood stability and reasonable design. And with that, I want to thank you all. You all have been elected by your peers, your neighbors, the residents of this city to take on decisions like this. It's something that I greatly respect coming from a public sector in my last job. So I want to say thank you for your service. I understand that there might be some open discussion, some question and answer dialogue. I do want to use that opportunity to turn it over to people who have actual GC licenses. I run a trade association and I rely on their expertise. So if there are any questions, I would entertain them now.
Could we just maybe start by getting all of your names?
I'm Paul Kelsey. Tom Ballman.
Ryan Mills.
Owen Shigley.
And you all have developed in Goddard? Or intend to at some point?
Have 26 years.
Yes. And on the limits of Wichita, adjoining Goddard.
Yes.
I've been east side focused.
I live within the school district of Goddard. We've done 1,000 houses out there so far. So we're quite familiar with things in Goddard. So we're here to see, you know, you're looking at duplexes, twin homes, whatever you want to call them. Is this going to go on to the houses now? You know, right now we've done 1,000. Right now we've got enough for 475 more doors that we're developing right now. So I want to know what the complications are going to be. How far are you going to take this? Mike always wants me to go buy more ground, put up more stuff. And I need to know what's going on before we commit to any more.
Well, you know, this whole process, those of us up here who've been on the council 2.5 years or less, we're hearing the criticism from the community members about the lack of design standards. I don't think any of us have any intention of harming your business or slowing you down, but in the same breath, there needs to be, and we're just kind of muddling through this, to be honest, that the fact that we're dealing with duplexes right now. We've made changes in our lot limits and things to try to encourage smaller homes. We're trying to do things that facilitate and develop community. I think a really good example of that is Trails End out here. I drove by the other night, and that's a 60-40 mix of duplexes and single-family homes. They put in a nice little pool. There's a playground area there. Drove by there about 7:30 the other night, and there were 100 people out there. And so, I mean, we're trying to develop neighborhoods that will allow for community. You know, in terms of, when we try to talk to people in the community, I don't think they are so much against the actual duplex, but I think what they're complaining about or what they see is a straight row of everything that looks the same, or something that has stairs built across the front of them. And I think the people that live here have pride in the community, and they just want to have some assurance that what you guys continue to build kind of fits in. And I think, Paul, the developments and things you've done here have been, you know, fine. I maybe add a tree or two someplace, but but you understand what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think we have any intent of trying to harm your business. But,
well, you know, I look at it as though from the 26 years we've been here, about 18 to 20 million has gone directly to the city off of general taxes. This year, off of the homes that we've done so far, it's going to be close to 1.3 million. Okay, that's about 800,000 goes to Goddard schools. So we're just a little nervous that it's going to get real vicious around here and not builder friendly. And if that's the case, then I don't need to hear from Mike anymore.
well, I don't think that's what's happening, but you got to realize that the same week, Derby Mays also turned down duplex developments last fall. So this isn't something that's just happening in our community.
Oh no, I've talked about, we build there too. No,
But I'm saying, they're looking at the same type of design standards. And I think Derby, I haven't looked at what they passed, but I know they passed something. I think Mays is getting ready to pass something too, so.
Well, they're waiting on this.
Well,
I just met with them Monday night.
well, I've talked with them the other day too, so I know that, but I don't think, I guess as you kind of go through this laundry list of things that are concerns, what would be your top 3 concerns?
You know, the duplex thing, okay, when we first, I mean, not first time out, when the last area we did, Cloverleaf, specials ran $127 a month. The area that we're in now, exact same size lots, are now $300 a month. So you can see, if you take a house on a 70-foot lot, it's gonna run them $300 a month. We take and put a twin home duplex on it, we split that in half if we sell it to 2 individuals, which every duplex that is built right now in 5 years, one side will be individually owned. It's just the way it's going right now. It's pricing, it's affordability, it's just the way it is. So they're going to become a single family house, and when I talk about duplexes, I look at them as houses because we end up selling half of it to individuals. So it's a little bit different from our standpoint. You guys always call them duplexes. I never hear twin homes.
Depends where you live. My friend in Kansas City, that's the mayor of Leawood, they call them townhomes, but the same thing. But you still haven't answered my question. Of the things that are listed on this agreement, what 3 things are the top 3 things that you
the one that
change?
really irks me more than anything is the tree has to be planted to get occupancy permit. Do you realize, what if it's winter? How are we gonna get trees in the yard? I mean, just something so simple as that how did that even show up on needing to be done to get an occupancy permit? What is it with the tree that needs occupancy
Okay,
permit?
that's one. What, 2 more?
The 50,
Yeah.
the 50 foot for the garage.
That's 2.
We've got, We're doing 130 houses because I got turned down on duplexes on half of my 23rd South. So we're doing 50-foot lots. What do you think they're gonna be? I guarantee you they're gonna have 50-foot of garages on them. So you can't come up with 50-foot lots and then think, well, I'm gonna change that. I don't want 50-foot of garages on them. This is a total thought process. You know, when Dugan brought me out here, he wanted to build a church, and then he said a Walmart. I'm going, John, there's not enough people out here to do a Walmart. He goes, there will be when you're done. So he puts all this together, and that's what we need to do when we build in areas. We need to know what we're gonna be confronted with. Because some of us won't show up if it becomes an area that we don't wanna be in with, you know, the problems that are around us.
Mayor, may I interject?
Sure, go ahead.
So, I want to preface by saying I've been on council since January, so I will not pretend to know all of your developments, because I'm still learning them. There's a lot of growth going. So what I'm about to say is not, and to anyone in particular, first of all, when my parents moved to Goddard 4 years ago, they lived in a duplex in town. And my mom at 4 a.m. we woke up to her neighbor peeing in his toilet. That is, you know, there's no sound barrier, and I know that that's not necessarily a requirement, but they had the most miserable year of their life living in that duplex. Among many other issues, just the quality of the duplex itself was terrible. The garage was falling apart, it was brand new, they were the first tenant. Their electrical panel was shot, like just lots of different things. But
Is that duplex still being rented today?
yes.
Okay.
So, I understand and totally agree with the affordable and attainable. I think that's so important in our economy now. People are struggling. We need things that are affordable and attainable. I think where the concern comes in, and just what I'm hearing from the community, and honestly, I'm only one voice, but how I feel myself is that sometimes there's that gray area of feeling as though trying to be affordable and attainable, we're going with the absolute cheapest, and we're undercutting some quality that we probably could and should have, such as the soundproofing, or just, you know, better in inspection. And I know that's part of what Goddard is working on, and bringing in our own inspector and being able to kind of have a better look at these things. So I think that's what kind of led us here, is we have all of these duplexes that 15, 20 years from now are not going to be good quality. And so,
well, that's the problems that we're putting up with. The ones that we view are identical to the houses.
yeah,
You know, they have a 2x4 walls with soundboard in between them. So I don't know which area you're talking about,
Yeah, and
and
I
how
don't-
it passed MABCT,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't pass today. So I don't know how that duplex even got passed. Those are requirements that we have to put up with now.
MABCD now requires staggered 2x4s.
Absolutely.
Okay, and how long
With
has that been?
soundproof. Ever since I can remember. I didn't know that I'm not really a builder, I'm just a developer.
The argument here, or the concern here, I think, is that we have not had standards up until this point. And so, while we're not trying to stifle your development, we're trying to come to a point of collaboration on how we would like this to look going forward, based off of what Goddard already has, the poor quality. I have several people who sit in my chair who are in that same predicament. They can hear their neighbors. They're renting for a year and then getting out or going somewhere else as soon as they can, because the quality is so poor. And I think we already have enough of that in our community, so going forward, we want something that's a little better, or meets the correct standards that people can live in. And I mean, it sounds like a huge conundrum, because the wages are not matching the material costs and all those things. We're just trying to figure out how we can collaborate and have good quality building occur in our community. When we looked at the Schellenberg property, for example, you know, they came and we said no to that. They took us to Bel Air, and we looked at that product, and then they said, we have a 20-year-old product in May. So I went directly over there to look at that, and it still looks amazing. It's dated, you know, red brick and brown siding, but everything still looks great and pristine and in order. And, you know, it's a quality product. So I said yes to that because I knew that that was what was coming. So, I mean, I just think that we're trying to find a sweet spot for all of us to be able to live well in our community. With a good quality of life. It's not a great quality of life if your next door neighbor, you can hear every move they're making. That's pretty terrible.
But buying public is the one that should be particular on that. I mean, like I said, the double wall standard we've done for years with the soundboard in the middle. I don't know what else we can do on that. What do you think you're gonna hear from all these people that are gonna be living in these, apartments? Are they gonna come in and issue the same thing? Yeah, they will. So, there is a difference when you have somebody you live next door. But that's why if we can come in and do the specials and split them in half, instead of 300, it'll be 150. If you sell a half of a duplex at 1,224 square feet, and it's 189, that 1,224 square foot house is gonna cost you $260. So there's $80 difference in that, and $150 a month in special assessments. That's a lot of money to a lot of people.
If I can real quick, Councilmember Hall and White and Mayor Levy, I really appreciate the concerns that you have brought up that I know has led this council to direct staff to come up with this proposal. You were trying to address a problem that you were hearing from your constituents. I respect that. Mayor, you mentioned Derby. I have gone through their ordinance they passed at the end of May. I've spoken with their city staff. Their ordinance is much more targeted simply on design standards, as I think it came as a part of their annual review of their own subdivision regulations and zoning requirements. That's not something that I heard from my WALA members to the degree that I did when we found out about City of Goddard's. That's a little bit of background of why we are here tonight. And once again, we appreciate city staff, almost promoted you to city council. City manager Craig Crossett for taking my phone call on the morning of May 18th and discussing this further. We've had conversations with Mike and Ryan, and really do appreciate this opportunity. I will say that my wife and I lived in a duplex for 3 years of our home. The experience that we had was not the one you described with your parents, which I'm sorry to hear. Those were some of the 3 happiest years of my life, the years that I proposed to my wife and that we got married. And the affordable housing unit that we lived in at that time, a duplex, allowed us to build up savings to put on our first down payment on our first house in early 2020. I will say that Rent Cafe came out with a report, I believe in April, that showed that Wichita, for the size of our metro, is the #1 most competitive in the nation for the size of our metro, roughly 500,000 people, over 500,000 people. For every unit that goes on the market, Rent Cafe.
But most competitive what?
That means for every 1 unit that goes on the market, there are 9 individuals competing for that unit. They've got an index called it's the RCI, Rental Competitive Index. The metro area jumped 15 points from, I believe, 76 on that index to 91. Once again, the #1 in the nation, I believe number 14, #1 in the nation for our metro size, number 14 out of all cities in the U.S. For cities of our size, we are right ahead of Amarillo, Texas. So it's not a unique situation that's happening just here, but that does put us on the map to where it's making it harder for individuals to find a place to live, to rent out of, and that's why we need to build up the stock. That's why there's such demand here right now. Travis Whistler, the individual who sent us these images, he said, I'd love to build 600, 800,000 homes over and over, but that's not where the market demand is right now. My builders and developers have to build products that will sell in the market and move in the market, rent out.
So, real quick I think I only marked down 2 of the 3 concerns you were asking for the top.
Trees, the garage, and
I would say park.
The park, okay. On the tree, if I remember right, when that came up with our joint planning commission meeting, the reason it was at occupancy, I could be wrong, is because that's the only way we could really enforce it, because once we give the occupancy, it'd be very difficult to follow up and still need to put in
We
a
had
tree.
this exact discussion about, like,
Yeah,
it's
we-
winter, what do we do? And these were, we share your concerns and we do understand that.
Right,
How
it
do we
came up that
mitigate
could we
that?
put it for, you have one planting season to be able to get the trees in. It's been talked about and discussed, so that, I mean, it might still be an option. The thing I do wanna ask, because I shared the concern of a 50% frontal area being the garage is a pretty steep threshold to try to meet. So I think there's some other language in there for requiring a certain amount of windows in the front and or front door area, so it's not just, you know, square on the front and the doors are on the side. So I think if those types of things could be met, I wonder, and I'm not saying we're going this route, but maybe just help me understand, if we gave some allowance to the 50%, is there a potential of maybe staggering garage fronts to really break up the straight line of garages you see down the road?
I think with the new plans that he showed you, we were hoping that would attack, because Travis will be doing the duplexes, so he's willing to commit, not just buy the ground and then say, I'm just building duplexes. He's willing to commit, he'll sign something that he will build an area like that. So you know what you're getting. You're not getting the same repetitive house in the same color. He's willing to go in there, and if you go up to 37th and 119th, you can drive through it, and he will commit to building that. And I mean, right now, I've got 81 lots, well, actually 105 lots sold to him, and we're already past, we're platted, or, you know, so I don't know how you guys are gonna be looking at that.
I've lost the ability to click through my slideshow, but on one of the slides actually shows a photo, not design, not a rendering, but an image down the street which will show exactly that. And again, I want to present this as an opportunity. Travis has offered, oh, there you go, has offered the opportunity for anyone to take a look at this Fox Creek development at 30, let's see, I've got it in here, 119th and 37th. As a way that he's building that works for this development, that he's able to cash flow, creates structures that people living in them have pride in. In addition to, I'm not going to advocate for more design standards, but he is voluntarily putting 2 stories to break up the monotony of single-story homes every 2 or 3rd house down.
That's the other concern. There's a lot of what I call military housing with these row homes, and I mean, it's just an aesthetic that we have plenty of in the community, and and also surrounding. I mean, you go to 135th, you go to 167th. We would like to have more variety in what
Is
this
this
looks
what
like.
you're looking for?
More so like this
Okay.
than
Well,
some
that's
of
all
the
we're
others.
asking for.
And that's why we're having this conversation. We're not trying to, like I said, impede your development in our community. We're just trying to figure out where we can connect and make it work for all of us.
And that's what we're here for. We're here with demonstrations of what we're going to do. And like you said, we're already platted and approved, so I don't know when you're gonna start putting these together. You know, am I already approved?
Mayor,
Because I'm done?
can I help answer that for Mr.
Yes.
Kelsey?
Sure.
So the design standards, Mr. Kelsey, that we're discussing this evening, they would only apply for ground that you would be going to Council and Planning Commission asking to have the zoning amended. So everything that's already been approved, this is
Okay.
not subject to that.
Good enough.
So I have
But I still wanna do
But
this.
if,
We would love that.
would be,
Well,
well,
I mean, we
great.
still wanna
I think
do
it
that.
creates community, and if people want to sell more units.
So I have a financial question, if that's okay, just kind of an understanding. Not fully my area, but I dabble in this a little bit, so I am under the understanding that if you go somewhere like Mill Creek or Star and you buy trust packages for 40 of the same unit, you're gonna get cut a better deal than if you're changing up, your packages, and you have 6 here. So from a financial aspect, because you did share, like, the more design standards we add, the more expensive it gets. But now we're talking about 6 different units here.
Right.
What does that look like financially, like, in the difference to do all these different ones versus kind of the military style that we're seeing going up
It's
now?
like everything else, the price goes up on it. You just don't gain the price
Right,
per unit that you do building the same unit over and over. I mean, everybody's cheaper, because they're used to it. The framer, the cider, the glass, it's all a lot more economical to keep repeating what you do.
Now, as a builder, is this somewhere where where you're intending to combat the price, and maybe you already are? If you're building these in several different communities, you're still ordering them at a higher rate to spread across your different communities? How does that work for your inventory? I know some of these places will hold on to the material until you need it and some don't, so what does that look
60
like?
days, man. Well,
Yeah.
you'll ask this man here, he's into that business. How long will you commit?
We'll commit it out there as far as we can.
Yeah.
Typically, our commitment is 30 days, but we can go 90 days, if we need to. But that's about as far as we can go, because lumber's a commodity, and it
Right.
changes price every day, so.
So,
Somebody's putting a risk out there.
as far as like builders go, is this somewhere where they're combating, where they are potentially still building the same things in different communities, and so that they can buy them at a higher rate and still get their discounted price, or?
Yes.
Okay,
And as Paul noted, with repetition comes efficiency, economic efficiency, where you can build out so many at a more affordable rate. It all combines to that affordability piece for the people that are living in these homes. But again, understanding, as the mayor said earlier, it's not just a Goddard conversation. Derby's having the same conversation, May's having the same conversation, other smaller jurisdictions are. We're communicating with all of them. I read, as I went through Derby's, you know, that it will increase costs as part of our conversation that we're having right now, but we know that there's a strong desire, a groundswell to address what communities see as an issue to take on. So.
my understanding, maybe you guys don't know this, 2 parts, sorry. Number one, I have a question and then I have a question just overall, but Travis, rents a lot of these out himself as well, correct? Like he does not just develop them, he does rent them out as well. Do we know what those are going for over at Fox Creek?
We're at Cypress Glen with Travis, which is at Maple and 167th, and we rent from $15.95 to generally $21.95 depending on the floor plan. We have 4 different floor plans, varying degrees of setback on each one. They're not all in a line. And we've seen really tremendous success building out those 4 different floor plans at Cypress Glen, which is at Maple and 167th. My concern for Goddard is that by dictating the amount of percentage density of a certain housing product type, you're going to miss out on a significant portion of the market. And with us developing both commercial and residential applications, this community continues to need housing stock and housing inventory. Like Mr. Kelsey mentioned, that's part of the reason why Walmart's here. All of those contribute to the tax base. I mean, we've built probably $65 million worth of housing product at Maple and 167th, and it is annexed into the city of Wichita because of infrastructure costs that would have been, we came to Goddard asking to annex into it, but it was about $1 million difference in serving that community with water. You're confronted with Sedgwick County Electric Co-op escalation of costs compared to Evergy. You're served by a lot of rural water districts as well. All of those costs of developers impact the affordability and what we're able to deliver the final product for. So I think you'll have a ripple effect that will potentially stymie some of your commercial tax base and creation there as well if we take this too far. I agree 100% in developing a standard, a design standard. We effectively do that, I feel like, in our communities with establishment of ACC, with establishment of an HOA, as well as an architectural control committee that approves every plan. I think that ACC could work in conjunction with municipalities to have an adopted standard, and that ACC is the approving authority of plan submissions. I mean, we all, so anyway.
So what's the middle ground for you guys? I mean, being realistic, that I hear some of the concerns, and I mean, especially the garage, I don't disagree with that. I hear what you're saying, but what's the middle ground that provides affordability, attainability, doesn't skyrocket your cost or make things 10 times harder, but also provides a little better quality to the residents that want to live in them here.
Go ahead.
I would take us back to the two options that I presented. One is something that I do frequently, almost on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis, with the city of Wichita and Sedgwick County governments. And that is working with WALA members in working groups. If you direct your city staff, we can go over the proposal that they have spent probably hours developing for you all as a starting point, and seeing where we might be able to amend, what might be amenable to you all and your constituents to move forward with, if you want to consider. The other opportunity would be working in combination of master development plans and developers agreement. I don't know if there's any of you that want to speak to that option,
I mean, we've done projects in Park City that's governed by a master development agreement for a said subdivision, that was, you know, with an intentional approach, and we are governed by that and can only build product that fits or conforms within that development standard under that development agreement. I think that's an effective tool. You know, again, I think it's establishing those certain protocols on the front end can help achieve that, and let the market continue to somewhat dictate. I mean, nobody's wanting to build anything that isn't sellable, leasable, or attractive, honestly, at least here. I think that there's examples of that, and we want to combat that too. We don't like that kind of bad competition within our market, so I think it's going to be a continued collaboration with municipalities to establishing development agreements, establishing those approving authorities that have jurisdiction within that development to determine what the final product is.
How many builders do you guys typically use in your developments, like per development?
2 on the housing part,
Just,
and then just Whistler and the Twin
yeah.
Homes.
I want to be very careful what I say here, because it's not to disparage anybody else, but I've seen in the past where in a Park City development, actually, you know, you even adding on to a subdivision, or you're doing something, and then you have all these different builders with hands in there. And if one builder builds quality that is not up to standard, or they flood, or something happens, and they have to lower the price of those homes, then you're looking at every other home around it as well. And so I think it's just, I know that that's a lot of gray area, and there's a lot of things to combat there, but
We've typically built with 4 in our single-family residential neighborhoods. We have one in Goddard now, Rachel Brook Estates at Maple and 167th. And we want to be doing more. We're intentional about what we think the growth path can be up and down 167th. So I think it's going to vary from subdivision to subdivision. You've got certain townhome builders that are more effective and have understood and figured out the cost structure in order to deliver those at the most cost-effective manner. Travis being probably one of the most significant in this market, and he cares. I mean, the good thing about it is you've got builders in this community that they genuinely care about making money, but they genuinely care about what they're building for the community too, and having something that's marketable to the community.
I think this is to combat the ones who don't care, and I think unfortunately we do have a few of those too.
Yeah,
And
very
so,
aware.
yeah, so it's, I think, I hear what you're saying, and I understand, I get it. How do we find the middle ground though, where we're still restricting enough that stops happening?
I don't know, Mr. Kelsey, if you agree with this, I mean, I think if we're a developer, we're not a builder, we don't build our inventory. We develop horizontal and traditionally sell it, and then we participate in some of the vertical. But I mean, I don't know that I would be opposed to developing a standard for a master development agreement within a community that governs it, that requires that an HOA and an ACC is established and is the, you know, in part the approving authority of whatever that's within that master plan agreement. And I think it gives the city some callback provisions under the master development agreement that would allow you to have clawbacks or punitive damages to a developer that maybe went rogue and allowed additional things that were outside of that development agreement to go in there.
Mr. Mayor, if I could jump in here and maybe help our team bring this to conclusion.
Sure.
Tyler may have stole the words out of my mouth. I think the most appropriate next step would probably be for our city staff to get with Tyler, let him maybe do a little more surveying of his members, and perhaps we bring back their top 3 to 5 concerns to you guys. Well, I'm probably gonna send them to you in a one-way email. That way you're not seeing them for the first time on the 6th. And perhaps we can consider ratifying the resolution to a compromise with them on whatever those 3 to 5 things are. I mean, trees, 50% garage, park. I mean, if the concern really is just having variety and then what percentage of 2-family structures we're allowing, I think some of this could probably go away, and we're still meeting the spirit of the law. I don't want to continue to spend more months on this. We have investment and development that's just kind of waiting on the sidelines for us to get this moving. So I would like to encourage you guys to try to move forward with something this summer, if not in early July. But I think that we're close, and with a few weeks' time, we have a bonus week before July 6th. Maybe we can bring something to you guys, and you can decide what you want to pick and pull from in adjusting it. So the beauty of the resolution, it's going to be uniformly applied. I don't know if I want to do individual agreements on each of these, because then that's a lot of time and effort to renegotiate on every new tract of land that wants to be developed in the community.
I just, no, you go
I haven't
ahead.
had a chance to talk, so I just want to add in, there's one thing on here that I know it's in your top 3 that I'm just really passionate about, and that is the parks. And it doesn't have to be as fancy, like I know we put a lot of stipulations on the parks, but I'm really very passionate, and so is the people that I've talked to, about having a place in the communities at which people can gather. I mean, this I think was something that I specifically added in because it's important for me that people have a place that they can gather and have community. And it doesn't have to be as fancy as we've made it, but just a one tract of land. Like, I guess I'm having a hard time understanding, and maybe you guys can share that with me. I understand that there would have to be an HOA and it would have to be, kept up, but it is one of your top 3, so I'm interested in hearing just a little bit more about that.
I'll start off, and then I can hand it off to whoever else wants to take it. With recreational amenity like a park, there is a cost associated with it, and it takes up land. Land then cannot be developed and sold to make a profit off of. And it also includes maintenance, upkeep over the years ahead that will initially be handled by the developer and then handed off to an HOA if an HOA is established. So I think that's our main concern. City of Derby doesn't do this, at least for the past 20 years. Of course, they've heavily invested in their city parks to where neighborhoods might feel less inclined to have that need. But again, if anyone else wants to take that.
We've been in quite a few areas, like in Hayesville even, where the city wanted to do a park. Well, it was in the last part of the area, 300 lots. And I got a call that says, we decided we don't want to do the park. And I said, well, I'm not taking it back. I can't develop it because we've already told all of the buyers that the city had plans on putting in a park. I can give you we put HOAs in every area. I mean, they're proven worthwhile, they're a pain, but they make everybody money. But we go up $5 a month, which is $60 a year, and we go from $240 to $300, and I mean it goes nuts. People just cannot stand an increase in price. I mean, it's a tight world out there. They just don't like spending that money. I mean, when we advertise, we say your HOA, the dues is this. Well, what about a pool? I said, well, that's fine. It's going to be $50 a month more to put in the pool. It's just, it costs money to do all this stuff. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm only going to use it 3 times a year. So, no, what you're talking about is a great idea. That's what we count on cities to create these parks that the families can go to.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. It's unbelievable what $5 a month does. It really is.
So,
Maybe it's a scenario where we have them dedicate a lot and then the HOA can pay to put it in once it's turned over to them. I mean, it's still gonna be a cost to them, they're losing the sale,
We are
for that
paying the
lot.
really nice parts though.
I gave a lot even to, one of these areas over here, and I don't think they've done anything with it yet. Did the same thing in, another one, St. Andrews, still nothing. It takes money, I mean, even with that lot, it, you know, and if you don't do it when you're platting, it has a full boat of specials on it. You know, when you deed that lot over to them, they're gonna be taking over to, $150, $200 a month in, dues, so it's.
I think in St. Andrews, they're taking the money and using it to stock the ponds with fish so they can go fishing, so. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, and, gentlemen, we appreciate.
No, appreciate the time. We just wanted, you wanted to know what we're offering. We're offering to change the front views. We're tired of doing the duplexes like we came out and started doing them. But when we came here 20 years ago, we never put up one duplex. The market wasn't here for that.
Right.
Now it is. Now it's learning how to put up with that market.
I do think, sorry, Mary, the only thing I want to say is I know that master development agreements are a lot more work, and I'm not saying that's the direction we have to go, but I definitely think it's important that we see the option for that. I think unfortunately, and this is not to anybody prior to us, we've allowed a lot of things into Goddard that we can't reverse, so.
You mean like all the metal buildings on Kellogg? Okay, that's just one.
So-
Councilwoman, the option would be a planned unit development, which we already have regulations for that. So, it's called a PUD, so
Yep.
we don't really need to do anything. If they wanna do that, all they need to do is put together a planned unit development, a PUD, and all of that can be defined within it, so.
Yeah, I just want to be careful that we don't take everything out and then we're kind of in the same conundrum.
I would rather
But
give
also
you guys a
be
lot and let you, the city, maintain it. So we don't have to participate in the expense of it. But if you're like every other city, they all wanna give it back. We don't have the money to do it.
I just want to be clear, we have a mechanism for this already, it's called the PUD, so if any developer wants to circumnavigate this, they can apply for a planned unit development, and they can tell you what they want to build on every lot, what land use, what build type, where the trees go, any of that, it can all be articulated within it, so that pathway already exists, and I think you may see some of those when this gets adopted in
I
July.
still think a standard is needed, but maybe we just come to a middle ground and
On
we
what
talk
the standard
about
is.
good options where we can meet in the middle with the standard, so I still think.
Well, you know, it's like I said, we've contributed over 18 million to the city, just the city, not in just general taxes, but their share of the general taxes. We're committing 1.3 million this year. Where's that money going? See, you guys have the same problems spending as we do going into these communities.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where all that money is. I really would. I mean, I have no idea. And that's just off of us. That has nothing to do with the other builders and everything they're committing to in general taxes. You know, a 1,250 square foot house is $4,510 a year. 30% of that comes to you guys. So, you guys are in the same battle we are. Trust me, I know that.
All right, one more
Okay,
try.
we're done.
One more try.
Thank you
you
guys so
very
much.
Thank you all for the opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you all much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Next item. Sound ordinances.
So, moving on, so item I2 is the sound separation ordinance. Okay, so the city has discussed design standards and construction standards for new developments, and the city staff acknowledges that design standards can really only apply for new rezone applications for projects. However, the sound barrier construction standards can be implemented right away for under the city construction code. So the city is asking if maybe the city will enforce our supplemental construction standards. They did reply and said that they could. They just want to know what they are and how it can be applied. So we'd have to work with them and kind of provide notes. And so we do have a new building inspector. His name's Andrew McNaughton. July 1st, he'll take over and do inspections on the residential side. So we're really happy about that.
In the interim, if I got a duplex permit, let's say tomorrow, and that kicked off, Andrew couldn't inspect it, so MABCD would have to inspect it. So MABCD said, yeah, we could do this supplemental standard that you guys have. It would have to be in the notes of the building permit because they only go by the IRC. They have what's called the IRC 2018 code, which says exactly kind of what we all generally understand, that it's gonna be that sheetrock, that 3/4 inch sheetrock, double stuffed together within a common wall. And so what we're asking is that we're gonna supplement it kind of like this. And so this is a single stud 2x4, this single stud 2x6. This is kind of a lot of what we've been seeing with the double-sided sheetrock as well, stuff on these sides for fire rating. What we're asking for is this, the staggered stud and the double stud. So
Just from my understanding, staggered stud is not required right now.
here's the thing, I'm not a builder, but from what I see, generally speaking, Andrew's been going around looking at different projects. He's seen this and this, but he's also seen previous variations of this.
Okay.
So it just depends, you know, and I wanna say, like, I'm not a builder. Some builders may have been able to do this in the past, because there's different iterations of the IRC. It's the International Residential Code. So it's very possible that the 2011 IRC allowed for this, and then maybe the 2018 doesn't allow for this, but it allows for this. Regardless, we're saying no matter what this IRC standards are, we require this. I did look it up, and the difference in what's called the STC, Ryan Peck actually did some research on this too, the STC sound transference conditioning or whatever it's called. That, this one, single stud and single stud 2x6s, this is like a 35 to 40, this one is like a 38 to 45. When you do the staggered stud, it jumps up to about 50. So that means that ideally, that sound mitigation increases pretty dramatically. When it goes up to a double stud, it's over 60. So that sound transference really, you can't hear anybody talking on the other side of the wall, generally speaking. And that's just our general understanding. That's my layman's understanding of what I'm reading and what I generally understand based on the IRC and the ICC standards. So
Micah, can I ask you something right there?
yes.
When I'm reading what's in the packet, what I'm seeing here, the thing I'm missing, and maybe I'm overlooking it, but it doesn't call out anything about a sound deadening material like insulation, which is what I'm seeing in the picture, but it doesn't say anything about that in the description. So are we requiring that the open wall cavity have some type of insulation as well in it? Because
that's a standard that the ICC still calls out. So we're just simply saying that this package assembly, your assembly package, has to look like this. That doesn't mean that just because it looks like this, you can do away with everything, every other material.
Okay.
We're not saying that you can take the ICC standards and throw them out and replace them with this. We're just simply saying that this assembly material, the staggered stud walls, is a requirement. And then of course you have to, of course, put insulation in there and the sheetrock and everything else. It doesn't forego any of the traditional materials. It just simply says that this assembly package has to be this one or this one. And this is being the stud walls itself. This is not saying that you can throw out the insulation. Does that make sense?
yeah, I guess I didn't realize that there is a requirement for insulation.
Yeah, well, like I said, not being a builder, I don't know all the details of what that assembly package would look like. We're just simply saying that for the stud package, it has to be this one or this one. It can't be this one or this one.
We'll verify that.
Yeah, I only ask because an empty cavity would transmit sound, much easier than a insulated cavity.
Actually, this air pocket here, even though there's an air pocket and this one doesn't have an air pocket, with this assembly, the conveyance is less.
Right, but I meant if you don't put any insulation, because like when we built our house, there was no requirement for insulation, like even on exterior walls.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that aspect of it. We're simply saying that the standards that we're adopting is gonna be that package assembly, which is gonna be the stud assembly.
Because my other question too, if we could verify is, if you did a double studded wall and it requires insulation between, does it require you to fill it, like you're showing there, 2 layers of insulation rather than?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's just some of the
sure.
stuff I'm a little curious about, so.
Yeah, since none of us are qualified to make those determinations, every time we keep doing more and more research, we realize how ignorant we are in the process.
Right.
And so what we're trying to adopt is something, fair to say that we've never built anything. None of us, maybe some examples, but none of us in here have ever really built anything. And so the standards of the IRC and the IRC 2018, we're trying to supplement them without replacing them. And that's kind of the standard that we're looking at right now. This came up from that process. I'm assuming that they're still requiring that installation in there. But I can't verify that, oh, is that a requirement that everyone has to do? I can't say that, so.
I believe it's just, don't quote me on that, I'm just gonna look it up to be sure, but I believe it's just exterior walls that are required to be insulated. You don't have to insulate in between, you just have to have the fireproofing. So.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll do some more research and get back to you. We don't wanna be inadvertently lessening the sound attenuation,
Yeah.
so. That, as Micah said, this is meant to supplement, not reduce, so we'll tighten the language up and do a little research if we need to.
So do we need to just pass on this tonight?
We could table it.
I mean, table it, just table it for tonight, and
The sound separation?
well, to get the language right.
We wanna make sure that we're requiring the insulation in there if it's needed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We could do a modified motion too, just to allow us to verify it, so we don't have to come back, but it's up to you guys.
If we modify the motion, can you bring it back to us on the 12 o'clock meeting at the next one? Is that too soon, or are we
We're not
meeting in
gonna-
July?
We won't have time during that meeting to do anything but the budget workshop.
Okay.
I would like to know the city attorney's opinion.
No pressure.
Are there people trying to build?
Yeah, Micah got some building permits today,
I got
but they're
three
single
single
family.
Let's move
I
forward
mean,
with
the
this and
problem
let's
is-
make a modification if we need to. I mean, that would be my opinion.
Okay.
Because what's gonna happen if we don't approve it tonight is
We're gonna
somebody's
get more.
build and we're gonna
Yeah.
get more of the.
This is better than not having.
Yeah,
it.
it's better than not
It's
having
better
it.
than not having anything.
Very good.
Yeah,
Just
but
asking the
I
question.
don't think that this, if adopted today, is gonna supplement the 2018 IRC. I don't think somebody's gonna look at this and say, well, now I don't need to do insulation and I had to before. I don't think a builder's gonna say that. And especially if Andrew walks over there and he's looking at the 2018 IRC, he's like, hey, where's your insulation? And the builder's gonna go, oh, I didn't think I needed to because you guys only adopted these standards. This is not meant to supplant it,
I
so
don't
that's.
believe it's required right now. Exterior walls are required to be insulated. I don't believe the in-between is.
But
Like,
somebody
Right.
told us this, it makes it better, and so I don't wanna require something that's not already required. We're not builders,
Right.
right? But if somebody is saying like staggered and double stud makes it to where it's better soundproofing between the duplexes or the twin homes. And we pull a permit, if we approve it tonight, right, somebody pulls a permit tomorrow, they're gonna be required to build this way.
Yeah.
So we just do it
Mr.
and
Mayor,
keep moving.
I think we could ask the city attorney, would it make sense if we added a sentence in there that says nothing in this ordinance is going to, remove the requirements that we currently follow for the ICC or IBC, whatever it's called?
Yeah, I'm just reading through it real quick.
This is to supplement or go above, not to supplant.
Yeah, we've already got language in there in paragraph B, section 1, paragraph B, where this section imposes a more stringent requirement than the construction codes otherwise adopted by the city. This section shall control. I think the implication there is it's not eliminating any standards that are otherwise required by the code. It's imposing a more stringent standard. And to the extent there's a conflict with what's required under the existing code, our requirement applies. So I don't think it is undoing anything else that applies in the code. But we can include something in there that more explicitly says that.
Does that require us to table this for night?
Now we can make a clerical adjustment with the
Yeah.
attorney.
We can do it. Give me a day or two, but, yeah, or 3, maybe.
I make a motion that we waive the reading of the ordinance.
Second.
Krista's made the motion. And seconds, all those in favor say aye.
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 I make a motion to approve the ordinance adding the sound separation supplemental requirements to the city code.
Amanda's made the motion.
Second.
Naomi seconds, roll call, voice.
Councilmember Durr,
Yes.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Mayor Lee,
Yes.
Councilmember Hall,
Yes.
Councilmember Leonard.
Yes.
Ordinance 1048.
10:48.
Thank you very much.
Passed 5-0.
All right, this is item I3. This is 611 North Spruce unfit for habitation resolution. So there's a lot of background, so I'm just going to summarize a lot of it. If you guys have questions, feel free to reach just to speak to me, or you're welcome to ask Chief Beagley or also our attorney Ryan Peck. One of his colleagues was on the phone when we went inside the house. And so 611 North Spruce was a property that we were informed of, had multiple violations that definitely qualified under unfit for habitation. So we reached out multiple times to the property owner. We were unable to get consent to enter the property. We were unable to establish a date or time that they would allow us to enter the property. And we even asked them to give us the opportunity to keep the property unlocked. We would inspect it and we would lock it upon leaving the property, and that was all denied. After which we reached out to district judge to get a warrant to enter the property. We entered the property and identified certain violations of city code as pertains to unfit for habitation. So after all that time and different notices and everything that goes with it, that we decided to bring this before the city council to ask you to adopt a resolution to set a public hearing for August 3rd per our city code, allowing time to elapse after publications are being met and certified mail is sent out to the property owner. After which we would have a public hearing. The property owner can present why they feel it is not unfit or anything else that they may want to express at that time. After which, on August 3rd, there would be another resolution that we're asking City Council to adopt to set a time in place and everything else for remediation. But at this time, what we're simply asking for is to adopt the resolution to set a public hearing for August 3rd.
Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
If you have any questions, as mentioned, City Attorney Ryan Peck, Chief Beagley was on site, before witness to what I'm testifying to.
I just think it's worth publicly noting for anyone who's listening and thinking this was not an easy thing to do, and so definitely it's new in circumstances for us to be voting on this, so.
I'll take a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the resolution setting the public hearing for August 3rd for the unfit habitation case.
Second.
Andy's made the motion, Corey seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
CFO time, Brooke Carroll.
Item I4 is a resolution establishing a water leak billing adjustment program. First of all, I would like to thank Stephanie Guy, our utility billing clerk. She was the one who got the ball rolling on this program. She's been familiar with this in other cities that she was at, and she's on the front lines answering those phone calls of these extraordinary leaks that happen, and she has to, work through those hardships with citizens. So the background currently, the current city policy holds customers responsible for all water usage. There's no leeway in our policy right now. Customers are responsible for the utility charges regardless of whether the leak was known, visible, or readily detectable. The city does offer payment plans when these situations arise, but there's no option to reduce it or help them out financially without a policy. Undetected water leaks obviously can result in harm and financial hardship to customers. Many municipalities offer these programs, and we worked this one up in correspondence with some others that we've researched, Sterling and Derby, and also Ryan Peck helped us to create this policy. These programs are intended to assist customers with extraordinary water charges caused by hidden or unforeseen leaks. So the purpose of this would obviously provide limited financial relief for qualifying water leaks, assist customers facing unexpected water costs, maintain customer responsibility for property maintenance and repairs. There's a requirement that they provide documentation of fixing their problem, making sure that the leak has been taken care of. And it establishes a consistent and transparent review process, so the application is very standardized, there's requirements, there's eligibility for requirements, there's application processes, and, Craig, or the city manager, would have the ultimate, sign off on each of the situations. To be eligible for an adjustment, a water leak must meet all 4 of the following criteria. It must be a hidden leak. The leak is not readily visible or detectable through a reasonable inspection by the property owner. It must be an exterior leak. The leak occurs between the city water meter and the structure receiving water. Crawl spaces are considered exterior for purposes of the policy. It has to be repaired. The leak has to have been repaired or is actively being repaired by a licensed plumber at the time the application is submitted. And it must be significant. The monthly water consumption is at least 100% greater than the property's average usage for the same month over the previous 3 years, resulting in an adjustment greater than $200, but it is capped at $1,000. Program guidelines, and these are the guidelines. The adjustment amount is 50% rebate of the water consumption above the customer's historical average. The minimum adjustment amount would be $200. The maximum would be $1,000. The maximum billing periods is up to 2 consecutive monthly utility bills. Adjustment frequency, 1 adjustment per property every 5 years. Retroactive limit, applications must be submitted within 3 months of the billing period. The customer must be in current status. For this plan, the meter size limit is limited to a 2-inch or smaller, and we will not offer any cost to reimburse for the cost of repair of this issue. There is an application and review process. The customer will submit a water leak utility billing application and their supporting documents. Then customers provide an invoice from a licensed plumber verifying the repair. City staff review the application and determine eligibility within 5 business days. And eligible applications are reviewed by the city manager or designee for approval. Applicant is notified of the approval decision within 10 days, and approved adjustments are applied as a credit to the customer's next utility bill. Financially, like I mentioned earlier, the adjustments can be anywhere from $2,000 to $1,000 maximum. All adjustments will be handled through the water utility fund, so we would obviously have a reduction in revenue when these situations occur. Program safeguards limit overall financial impact, and we expect this to be minimal. We don't have very many of these a year, maybe 1, maybe 2 in that instance. But this does give us, like I said, an opportunity to assist and make judgment when there's an issue like this that pops up. Legal consideration, the resolution, the program, policy has all been reviewed by Ryan Peck, and has been approved to form. So staff recommend the city council approve the resolution adopting the water leak utility billing adjustment policy and authorize implementation of the program as presented.
Questions?
I have one question.
Sure.
If this passes, will it be like noted in the water bill for people to be aware of, or on the city website? Just
We can certainly put it in the Goddard glance. I think most people that experience a hardship like this are gonna give us a call. Cause I always, they come ask me the 1 or 2 times a year, can we do something about this? So, most people aren't just gonna write that $900 check without making an inquiry. But we will put it in the Goddard glance. Maybe, we may be able to put it somewhere else too.
But it'll also be on the city website, the policy.
Not, I mean, you have to go search for it. It's not gonna be like it'll be on the front page or something.
But if somebody, wanted to inquire, you can find it, right?
We could put it on the utility page if you want.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've got all these extra TVs in my basement. I've been telling the staff I'm gonna put one in the front vestibule next to the pay window, so we can start rotating information through there instead of having posters stuck to the wall all over the place.
It's actually a really good idea.
We just haven't got to it yet,
Yeah.
so the TV is coming. And we would be able to put stuff like this on there.
We bet now that you've said it out loud to all of us that we see it before our July meeting.
I'm trying to hold myself accountable by doing that, so.
Well, now you have.
We'll help.
Thank you. Yes.
Probably don't need to put that in the minutes. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the resolution adopting the water leak utility billing adjustment policy and authorize implementation of the program as presented.
Second.
Krista's made a motion, and seconds. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Thank you, ma'am. 4%.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, I decided to steal this one from Kevin, but he is present, so I don't lie. So if you guys have any questions, there are these behind us. This is for 167 West Edition Phase 1 amendments, Phase 2 Mills Ridge, Trailbend 2nd and 3rd Edition, Maple Tree Edition, 23rd South Edition, Rusty Creek Edition, Bridger Maple Edition improvements. So the long and short of it is we have 11 petitions. 2 petitions are replacing 2 existing petitions on Phase 1 of 167th development. 2 additional petitions are going to be for Phase 2 of 167th development, and 7 petitions are for water meters and service line installation for existing and ongoing projects that we have. The total sum of it is about 1.5 million, so we're asking to basically borrow 1.5 million and special assess it to those projects moving forward, just like you would for any other type of improvement, for whether it be water line or sewer or anything else of that nature. So the reason we're asking for 2 petitions to replace 2 existing ones is because there was accidentally added a lot and in 2 of the original petitions, and they're asking that the lot be dropped off because the services didn't actually extend up to that lot, so it wouldn't be fair for that lot to absorb costs that didn't actually benefit from. The petitions are legally insufficient and meet statutory requirements. As such, the resolutions find petitions sufficient, find that the improvements are advisable, established applicable properties, improvement districts should be assessed for improvement costs and managed set forth in the petition. So all petitions are signed, and the resolutions represent that. There is no additional cost to the city. It's all going to be 100% assessed to the improvement districts, which are going to be those developments. So here's the financial, legal considerations. Petitions have been reviewed by bond counsel, resolutions have been reviewed by bond counsel, and bond counsel is behind me. It is recommended the council accept petitions and approve the corresponding authorizing resolutions for each of the improvements. Kevin, you want to add to that?
Not to that part.
Weird and abnormal.
I'll make the motion to accept the petitions and approve the corresponding authorizing resolutions for each of the improvements.
Okay.
Amanda made the motion, Naomi seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jason.
So I'm going tonight to ask for acceptance of agreement with a plumbing contractor to do our development contracts for our services. August last year, we changed our meter policy to make it where it's at the development had to be moved into the house building phase where we start pulling our services in because of damages and such. Due to that, that's caused a little bit of a rift or a little bit of an issue with some of the versions. So we met with them and came to a good compromise with coming up with this services contract. So the services contract will be a system that will have one person do the work for us, and we are only asking them to do the tap to the service line to the setter. They also installed a box and a lid as well. So we asked in this RFP for the plumbers to give us a cost for one service. They basically gave us the average. Other cities are doing this as well. And when we did ours, we're doing it a little bit different than other cities. Other cities were asking for like long service, short service, and had all these different prices that they were coming up with. And we said we want one simple price that Micah could put out for the specials. So like I said, with the graphics, just to give you a good idea of what they're actually installing, because we've had a little bit of problems with semantics on when we say install a meter. People think that they're literally just installing the meter, and no, they're going to be tapping the main, running the service line to the setter. The meter will not be set until the home is actually ready to be occupied and has been inspected. Wilkes Underground came in the lowest with a price of $1,575 per service install. This is for residential services only. Anything above a residential service, the developer will have to contract their own contractor to do those commercial services. All the references for Wilkes, all outstanding references, didn't have any issues. Everybody was extremely happy with the work they've been doing. As you can tell, Wilkes, like I said, was the lowest at $1,575. We did have an interim. It was Utility Solutions was our interim plumber until this came about with this RFP. As you can tell, that they are third in line there. So all these costs will be special assessed to development. So the idea is that as the plumber does these, he will itemize these. He will send a bulk to Brooke with each address itemized under that development, so that we can also keep track of where those are at. At this moment, is there any questions before we talk about it?
I just have a quick question. You said that the cans won't be installed until like they're ready to get a CFO. Is that what I'm understanding?
So once the house is actually built and most of the great work's been done, that's when they'll go in and install the cans and do the install the services and such.
It's like the framing and the...
Yeah, everything will be pretty well done, because what we've been having, the reason for the change in policy was because as these things are being built, we installed everything beforehand, and the equipment run over stuff, break stuff. We go out there 2 or 3 times to repair stuff. Yeah, and so this helps.
Will they have to bring in like their own water trucks? Should they have like stone siding or anything like that, or can the meters go in before that?
So if they need water, they can work with us. We'll figure out some way of getting them water, whether that be through a bulk water meter or something of that nature.
And the neighbor, can you borrow your water hose, please?
And in a duplex, that's $1,500 for each side.
Yes, it's per service.
Per
So every service they install it would be $1,500.
All right, any other comments? Naomi, you okay down there?
I'm good.
Corey down there?
I make a motion to approve entering into a contract with Wilkes Underground for the installation of new residential services and new developments.
Second.
Man makes a motion, Corey seconds, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, sir. Item J, city manager's report.
I know, right? I know, right?
Waiting all night patiently.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Just a few quick updates for you. We've got 2 budget workshops coming up with the general funds and the street and library funds. A note about the hours change with City Hall. We'll still be here from 8 a.m. to 4:30. We have the overnight drop box through the app. If someone would really like to see us in person during those hours that will no longer be here, they can set up an appointment, and we'd be glad to help them with whatever business they would like to complete. Public Works Facility update. You guys have been getting these, so things are progressing really nicely over there. The stormwater and the sewer utility work is done. They've got the slab in, so we'll start seeing the thing go up in the air this week. Legacy Bank Park, you may have seen that there's been some more heavy equipment that's been dropped off there today. I'm told that tomorrow they will begin the demolition and mass grading in earnest. So excited to see some more activity out there at the construction site. Hawkins Lane, we're getting super close there. Kudos to Jason for his patience and leadership, and trying to get the subcontractors lined out and where they're supposed to be and when. So a couple outstanding items there, and that project will be complete. We had the keen opportunity to do some engagement with our citizens at the market yesterday. Micah told me about maybe over 50 or 60 folks came by the booth and put their beads in the jars about the things that were important to them. So I think for his work and Olson, who were here to assist him yesterday at the market. We've got a couple of other benchmarks coming up. I mentioned there. Our new senior center director, she starts a week from today. We're super excited about her. She's got lots of skills and experience that fit some of the big pillars of what we're doing over at the senior center. So excited about that. We had a meeting with iParametrics last week. They're churning away. We're starting to really get into the meat of the emergency operation and continuity of operation plans. We should have the EOP done in July, and then the COOP will be done sometime in the fall. So we talked enough about R2 tonight, so thanks for doing a little sausage making with us. It's important that we continue to work through that, so appreciate the extra time from the council. Water looping, that'll get going real hot and heavy next week on the 22nd. The 2026 roadway projects, they've already finished all the concrete work. Spruce, Pine, and Oak, they're going to start the resurfacing work next week. They're coordinating real well with the general contractor on the water looping project, so that'll be good. Brooke Carroll and our deputy city manager Ryan Schrack, they've been meeting with a firm who provides audio and visual, and so it's been a real stress point in the council room. We've actually been pretty lucky, other than clicker and microphone for the last few months, but you may remember a period of time where it felt like a coin flip as to whether or not the stuff was going to work. So there's a firm that provides really good audio and visual. There's 4 or 5 cities that are using them. I'm not going to mention publicly, but Brooke and Ryan brought the proposal to me today. And not only will this group come in here and make all the improvements, but they'll actually also run our meetings, which will free up some staff time. And we'll have a tech genius that can help. So this is the kind of system where it feels like you're watching the meeting on TV. Whenever someone is talking, the camera will pan to them and zoom in. It'll have really good audio.
So like The Office?
Yes.
It's gonna be like The Office.
We've been begging for candid cameras in different ways.
So there'll be mics over here. A camera will pan to senior staff. These guys will have the same, and then we're gonna rotate this projector to that back wall. That way, when we're presenting, we're not turned away from the microphone. We can glance that way, and then there's some in the crowd that their neck might get tired turning that way too, so they'd be able to watch the back wall. So Brooke felt like we still have a couple of costs we're rounding up, but she thought that because there's a line item that's unused this year and last, that this could go under, that maybe we can start those improvements now. We have plenty to do, and we still have plenty to do in 2027 as well, so if we can get this knocked out, it'll just get us a little bit further ahead. And we won't have to deal with those issues any longer. So a few of our horizontal construction project updates at our residential developments. We've been saying we had 17 construction projects going on. Tina sent me a spreadsheet today. It's actually 23. So if you see the strain on our faces, we're keeping up with caffeine and good spirits and lots of prayer. So a few upcoming agenda items there for you to peruse as well, and I would be glad to stand for any questions that you might have.
Any questions? Free to go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Comments? Man, you won't start on the end, start in the middle.
Well, I'll just start by saying thank you to WAVA and some of the builders and developers that came out and shared some insight with us. Some great feedback there. Stephanie Guy, she's not here, but I hear her name popping up a lot for all of the really great things she's like heading and kicking off and taking initiative on. So just want to shout her out because I feel like about every other council meeting we hear her name. So she's been with us, what, 9 and 6 months now still? Maybe about, and she's
right at 6 months.
done quite a bit. So I just kind of wanted to call her out a little bit. Zoe and Micah yesterday for meeting with the community. I thought it was really cool. If you didn't make it, not only did they have beads for the community to kind of put in and answer where they felt we needed the most help, but they had a different color bead for kids. So it really got everybody of all ages engaged. So I really enjoyed that. And then lastly, Saturday, the Hub just down the road is having their grand opening. Saturday the 20th, 11 to 1, and they're going to do the ribbon cutting at 11:30. I think this is a really great resource for our Goddard community, so I'm hoping that everyone can make it out.
Thank you. Mr. Durr.
Yeah, so just congrats again on the for Mike, Kayla, and Tina on the Leaders Academy and Certified Public Management Program. Thanks again to the WABA folks that came out. We appreciate their input as we look to work through what the R2 covenant's gonna look like, so we appreciate that. I think that's all I have.
Very good. Vice Mayor?
I echo the sentiments of these two, and I think we're good. Thanks, city staff, for all you're doing.
Yes, all the things have already been said except for one. Main Street Market was really awesome. I had a great time yesterday, so thanks to the committee for all your hard work on that. Always a great time, and I know that it's a lot of work. So Danny, great job. I know you help a lot with that also, Amanda.
It's burnt my skin for the community, so I think Danny back there did too. Very happy.
So thanks for doing that. We had a great event. The cornhole tournament went well, so Corey, you crushed that. It was a really great fundraiser and it was a really great fundraiser also. So,
unintended.
Totally intended. So, yeah, thanks for everybody that worked on that. It was a good time.
Sorry that Tina wasn't here tonight,
Yeah.
to be recognized, but be sure and tell her that we appreciate what she's doing as well. My request for June, I was wondering if we could get a list of the fire hydrants that are bagged up, and kind of with the length of time and maybe what needs to be done, so we can put that at the end of the water report that is water related. But I just think that would just, I know there's one of them that's been, it's going close to a year. Last year I had some appointment, you go around Brazos, there's one in the middle of the wall. So just, I think we just need to kind of keep an eye on that, so if we put that in the report, that'd be great. Other than that, just appreciate the council, the conversation we had with WABA, and I'll entertain, or I'll just make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you.